The beats, the flow, the rhythm. All movement starts from the streets. Streets A&R Podcast.
Man, it is a beautiful day outside. You can tell because Johnny got energy.
Man, listen. Well, man, I got some sleep. I've been getting some sleep. I got some rest on Friday.
I was hoping he was gonna hit us with the ATL line.
I got some cutting line. Man. Listen, man, my sex life is something we is not about. That motherfucker non-existent. The same way they looking for the Loch Ness is the same way I'm looking for my sex life. Yeah. That motherfucker is not to be seen.
So Johnny keep calling me E. Samuels, and I'm only gonna go to E. Samuels if he's willing to also. You don't have to host it, but you got to be willing to talk a little bit about your experience. I won't be out there by myself.
Man, you got all the experiences.
Listen, I don't. First of all, clear this message. Hi, boo, my wife. Hey, y'all. I love all y'all. Well, I love some of y'all. I like most of y'all.
That part.
I don't think it's screw anybody. I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't got nobody I'm like that with. Even the one that stopped talking to me. I know if I seen her, I'd be like, I couldn't be mad. I told you this when we had the Michael B. Jordan. I can't hold that. So I just cannot. So it's all good, man.
Man.
Back to the other streets, man. Welcome to Streets A&R Podcast, man. It's your host, Giddy Jicky with it.
It's your other host, Johnny No Good.
And we feeling good, as you can tell.
Yeah.
Shout out to the young God in the back, making it happen for us, man. Y'all shoot a prayer up for us, man. We trying to get this thing right in 2023.
Man.
The devil been trying to keep us down. But God. Hey, we need the personal prayer package from Pastor Kearney.
Personal prayer package.
If Pastor Kearney, can you please call in so we can get us a personal prayer package?
Them peas be popping when he said that personal prayer package.
Because God said,
man.
The fact that some people watching this have no clue
what we talking about. Shout out to J. Cole for putting that on the end of it. Otherwise, we really wouldn't know.
Oh, man. But, man, it's been a good start to the year, man. A whole lot going on. The city, we out here in Omaha, Nebraska, in the middle of the map. And as the spring and summer comes, there's a lot of stuff starting to pop up on the calendar, man. This will not be the place where people begrudgingly come to and are like, oh, ain't nothing to do in Omaha. There's going to be a whole lot to do. And I almost feel like, I think because this is like the first real year, I want to say, quote unquote, free of COVID.
Yeah.
Quote unquote.
Yeah.
It's still out here, but it's like, this is the year, like, it feels like everybody's open. Everybody's kind of like, you know what? I done did what I had to do or decided to do. We out. So it really feels like that, to where we're seeing a lot of shows pop up on the radar in and around the city. People doing, it looked like more events. People are trying to do events. People are trying to find different ways to just go out. That's not just a party or just a club. So it's good to see, man. It's a lot of energy. You can kind of feel like with the people, which is kind of crazy with all the things going on in the world. I think people kind of bracing themselves like, because, even when the Great Depression happened, the one thing that went through the roof was entertainment. The movie industry boomed because people needed an escape. So I don't know.
And speakeasies.
And the speakeasies. So escapism is real when in desperate times. So I don't know if we just getting that feeling.
Nah, you hitting on it. Gambling, the pennies was real big at that time. So playing the pennies, that was the birth of the lottery. You get what I'm saying? And that, the speakeasies, the jazz joints. So definitely. And the booze, Yeah. So definitely, we reaching into a point where escapism is about to be real.
Yeah. So while it's here, I guess we should enjoy it. So I don't know. Enjoy what you can, because life is hard. You know what I'm saying? So let's enjoy what we, as much as we can through this stuff. But one of the things that it kind of leads into what I wanted to get to today, bro, was when we talk about being out and we talk about all the things happening, it's like the difference between the mediums in the arts. So listening to, us talking about music, like it's one thing to experience music and listen to it. But it is a completely different thing to be in the setting with an artist and experience the artist and the music. And I kind of wanted to get in here and talk about, what it means to really perform, how we interpret a performance, and even some of the tidbits of what we think some of the best performances we've seen that I've experienced in my life, and why they were great to me. You know what I'm saying? It's funny because I distinctly remember Earth Gang talking probably 2022 in an interview, and they mentioned, they was like, it was like, oh, we getting ready to go on tour, getting out of the pandemic. It was like, listen, it was cool because a lot of artists got to pop off, people got to be creative. But when it comes to getting your fans and hitting the road, it's a different monster. You have to know how to put on a show. It is no longer you just sitting with a microphone being able to record and re-record and try again. You have to go and give them something if you want to keep them. And I think it's important to take in, I think you hit on it, it's the performing arts. So it is a art form in itself to perform. Even if you're performing music, it's a performance. So I want to talk about some I don't want to say do's and don'ts in this too, but using the examples of people that we've seen. My biggest thing with listening to new artists, because I love new artists. I love finding new talent. I think my biggest thing is when I see a new artist, that first step on stage or pre-step on stage, how do you capture my attention? How do you capture my energy? And I've seen this done a number of ways, bro. But you have to have something that grabs the audience that be like, hold on, who is this? And it can't be something as simple as you just walking out on stage and saying your name. That does not, literally, it almost is a turnoff.
It's definitely a turnoff, and I think I'll let you get into what that looked like. But stage presence and commanding the stage and confidence with the mic go a long way. I think that one of the hidden gems in life is just understanding that it's harder to convince a person one-on-one than it is to convince in a group setting, and that people naturally have a confirmation bias. So what people are doing around them are the things that they feel like other people know better than they know their own individual self. So in group environments and group settings, it is very, very easy to demand crowds to throw your hands up in the air, but you got to say it with conviction. And there's a certain level of comfortability that you have to get with demanding of power like that. Performing on stage and having control over the masses of people, control or influence is interchangeable in the psychological, just in the psychological world. But to have that much influence over what people do in a crowd or in crowded environments is a lot of responsibility, man. And it's something that people have to get comfortable with.
Yeah. And I think just, you can tell if somebody's coming out either unsure or nervous instead of just coming out to present their best. I'll give an example. One of the shows, and I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna just go between example and explaining, but I remember a show the first time I saw John Bellion. John Bellion, for people who don't know, especially in our culture, John Bellion wrote Monster by Rihanna. But he's also a performer. He raps, he kind of sings. It's like that new age pop sound that's a little different from mainstream. He kind of is a king in that sound. And the first time I saw them perform, they basically did a 1-by-1 band member build the beat. They just put the general bass down, boom. Then the guitarist came out and start going. Then the drummer come out. Then the lead guitarist would come out. Then the keyboardist, pianist would come out. Then the backup singer come out. And then John, and it's by the time he gets there, you're grooving because you're feeling every element be added to the show, be added. Then boom, he come out and now they rocking. But they got you because they started. It was a build up. You know what I'm saying? To essentially to your peak, to your climax of that song. But that's the intro. It has to be something that makes you pay attention. Like, what y'all doing? Like, oh, oh, y'all come in blunt. Oh, they building up. So now you anticipating the lead. You anticipating the main. But that was a great intro, bro. Like and I distinctly remember that because I haven't seen anybody intro like that. You know.
What's oh boy that we went to go see? Was that that wasn't Duckworth.
Yeah.
His show, they kind of did like a slight introduction like that, a slight build-in, introducing of each element, the band. But it wasn't like that, like a super slow build and kind of letting each individual element grow. But I appreciated that about his performance.
Yeah, but for somebody like, I know Duckworth, you weren't particularly familiar with him. How did that capture your attention at least? Be like, oh, all right, what they finna...
Yeah, no, definitely. It kind of, it reminds me of like the 48 Laws of Power. And there was a story about P.T. Barnum and how he had paid an individual to go around in a circle laying bricks. And after a while, other individuals just grew in watching this person lay bricks. And I think that's kind of what it is a lot of times familiarity breeds contempt, but familiarity breeds a pattern that people can recognize. And then as that pattern is set, you can either then maintain that pattern, which is powerful, or you can choose to break that pattern, which is even more powerful because it's been established. So it definitely did a great job of introducing him as an artist. I loved the elements of his live music that was incorporated into the show, and he did a great job of just they had a great vibe. You can tell that they've been playing for a while. There was a lot of trust on it, so it was a great experience.
Yeah, and getting into past the intro, like the flow, him understanding his set to the point of artists really need to understand that unless you got that type of wind, you can't just do all your hype songs. You're going to get tired. 'Cause adrenaline plus the actual force it takes to do a bunch of hype music in whatever genre you're doing. If you're hitting a bunch of high notes as a singer, that's going to strain your voice. If you are high energy and you like to jump around, you can't just do back to back to back to back of those because you're going to get tired unless you are a triathlete, right? And if you have live instrumentation, you have to think about your musicians and giving them a break as well, giving them a cool down in the middle of that some kind of way. So those elements are important, and it helps you to tell a story. Like the one thing I love, like using Duckworth as an example, he will bring you to a vibe. It was like it was a journey in the music. It wasn't just, oh, here's my next song. And this song, even them playing and interluding into each song and weaving it, that is a live art form that takes extreme practice. And that is one of the biggest differentiators between artists on the road. You can tell who tries to practice and who just has somebody pushing some buttons and I play my next track. And that goes into the showmanship. So unless you love the artist, that shit looks bad on you. So it doesn't mean you have to have live instrumentation. You can do this with your DJs, but you need to have, even if you have a DJ you're not familiar with, giving them the set, them saying you can do some cutting and scratching in here, you can do this. Think about your set in that format of how is this gonna be a show and an experience for the audience. We already got your music.
That part. And I think that's something that you hit on that's very big. When I perform, I'm not trying to do the most. I'm trying to create the most experiences. So it's not about doing songs. It's not about performances. How can I create memorable moments? And I think that's the key to a great performance is creating experiences.
Yeah. And those are done so many ways, bro. Like the ability to be creative in a space, even if it's a confined space and confined time. Set design can matter if you care. And sometimes set design is not the big grandiose stuff. Think about if you're an artist who makes mood music, what if you just brought your chair and a little table with a lamp? Because you make mood music and you understand that most people consume this type of music sitting in their living room, you bring the living room. It's going to shift the energy and put people in that space. Now they're having an experience with you, which seems very authentic and real to how you feel and how they consume the music. Like it's thinking of it in that setting. Like it doesn't take much, but it just takes intentionality in what you're doing to where I'm just not here just to play my songs. And I think this young generation coming up is gonna have to learn that lesson the hard way, because their whole existence has been just next song, playlist, songs, no albums, just streaming singles. Like, no, it has to be a thread that's weaving this together, no different than your album. So take them on a journey. So, and I think people who make comprehensive and cohesive albums, it's easier for them to show, because the production of the album is as if it's a performance or it's a theatrical score. That's Kendrick is a king of making theatrical scores, front to back. He can run a show, and you can feel how the show would look like and feel like in the music, and then he even pushes it on the stage. So that's one of my biggest things with artists is take the time to understand the craft of performing. Take an acting class. Take breathing classes. Take enunciation classes. You have to, if you're gonna hit that stage. Because whether people want to admit it or not, anybody can pop on a song. Anybody. You can get a little change off the song. The music is still in the arts. People want to see you, touch you, experience you. If you don't give them nothing to experience, they ain't coming back. You will ruin your career on the road. You can either make or break your career on the road.
Very true.
With the fans, with the other artists you're touring with, and with the venues. You can either make or break your career.
Yeah, no, that's very key. So definitely, I think it's, like you said, it's just about the environment, being microwave and us kind of missing that element of performing. Being that it is a different generation with a different value system, we got things like, AI coming up. And so like they're able to like replicate things that artists do. Is there a sense where craftsmanship has been taken out of artistry? Is there an aspect where mastery has been taken out of artistry as to why we don't value the process of craftsmanship and mastery?
I think on the surface level, yes. We go for what's easiest, just like the actual microwave versus cooking. We go for what's easiest, but the things that last the longest, that individual touch, individuality and creativity always are king. There's no way around it when it comes to the arts. So some people can we'll take the music, but we won't take the performance, because we can tell when something's missing, because it's a person-to-person exchange. It's not through just the headphones anymore. It's not just the screen. So when it comes to exchanges, there has to be something heartfelt or an energy that's pushed to where we're receiving what we came to get. If it ain't there, we check out. You know what I'm saying? We just experienced some shit like that where people checked out because it wasn't there. It wasn't nothing. There was no intimacy. And that's what these are. These are intimate moments. This is somebody pouring out their creativity, their artistry to you as you absorb it. And you can, a lot of times when artists are grateful, you can feel it. You can feel that they enjoy doing this. Even if they have stage fright or have anxiety, you can feel them keep going because y'all are there. So if that's missing and everything has been cheap and your whole process has been shortened and you've gotten instant success without having to work and understand these things, you haven't had to do 12-minute sets on these tours. You haven't been invited to a tour to know how it feels to travel, and now you got to actually take care of your body and your voice on the road. We can tell when you hit the stage. We can tell. You got to earn your stripes in this. Or you won't have no jacket to have a stripe on. Nah, it gets out of it.
I think that's a very big key of what you're talking about. Breath work. You talked about learning to breathe, but exercise and being in shape. Like, you have to work out in order to perform. Like, it's very evident, especially if you don't work out or if you haven't been on stage in a while. Like, performing at a high level of energy is very draining. Straining of the vocal cords is there. What's your recovery look like? Are you drinking, honey lemon tea and stuff like that to try to re-soothe your voice to get that, so it's definitely different as we start to look into a professional mode. And it kind of, one thing this kind of remind me of is The Miseducation of the Negro by Carter G. Woodson. Mm-hmm. And one of the things he talked about is like, because people are naturally gifted in the area, they fail to go get classical or technical training in that area. And I think about a lot of people, myself included, you know, who don't have technical training in areas that we have natural talents and gifts in. Mm-hmm. But then when you combine that training with that natural gift and talent, it can expose you to so much more. So I think it's definitely important that we continue to grow and develop our skills, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I think for me on the performance, I think we kind of covered, and then of course your booking and how you finish the show. Mm. That's your last statement. Mm. Finish it. That's typically the last thing they're going to remember, and that's typically the thing they're going to say whether this is a good show or a bad show. Mm-hmm. Pay attention to those things. I don't even know how to stress how important it is of performing to gaining the crowd. I'm gonna say one. I ain't gonna mention the main artist, but I remember being here in Omaha and both performed. Mm. So Infinite Loop and Sky Ree. And they were not the headliners. They were on somebody else was on tour. They got them to perform. I shit you not. After the show ended and they were basically meet and greets, 70% of the people doing the meet and greets went to go talk to both. Mm-hmm. And not the main artist. Mm. I sat there and watched it because they put on a show. They put on a performance. You know, Nate is working the sound, but he's into the show. He does his sound effect. He doing his thing. Mm-hmm. He captures you. They're being funny. They're being personable. They're grasping the audience. And I watched that versus the main artist who didn't necessarily do that. And I watched after the show. Everybody went to them, the local talent. Mm. It's important. It don't matter if you the one that got them there, you'll lose them.
Yeah, and I think what you hitting on is important because you before we started the show, you had you was like, you know, what's some of the best performances that we may or may not seen, and some of the best performances I've seen have come from people who've not national artists. Mm-hmm. Like one of the best performances that I saw literally just came from being out there in Seattle the other week, you know, with the One Vibe, Africa Vibe, and the brother Providence. His group is amazing, bro. Like that was a phenomenal performance, you know. So it's important to hone your craft, you know, and to know that it's never too late to keep working on it, you know, big or small. You don't know what stage, if it's a person's first time seeing you or they last time seeing you.
Yep. And on that note, bro, so as far as I'll say it's one of the best shows, I talked about John Bellion. Mm-hmm. Not gonna lie, bro, that Jadena show when I was in Anaheim, masterfully done. You know, the theatrics, the stage, the set design, even to the point because he had branded himself in a certain image, the audience came in the image in which he branded. Mm-hmm. Hands down, the best dressed show I've ever seen. Artsy, but classy, but creative. Hands down, the best. It was fur mink vest out there. Which, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, hands down. And I was clean in the bitch. I ain't gonna lie. I was sharp. Boy, I wasn't playing no game. I had them.
I heard they be coming out for the dinner shows.
Listen, it was 85% women. If you fellas don't know, please go to the Jadena, but put your raggedy t-shirts up and your raggedy tennis shoes. Put some clothes on. But it was the whole show, like even having dancers who came in the crowd were doing some like West African tribal dances in the crowd to segue to another section of the show to, you know what I'm saying? Like it was an experience. He made sure you got an experience. Just at the House of Blues and didn't need a bunch of lights. He did what he had to do. And you know, that's more when it costs and things like that. That runs your cost up. You paying people, but it's worth it. Because I promise you there's people who probably just got drugged to the show. Like, nah, this was a show. I'm gonna go to, even if I don't listen to his music, I'm gonna go to his show. So that, and on a smaller scale, I was just in LA and I told you I ended up just searching some stuff. The branding wasn't all that, but I looked at okay, it's a drummer led band that does like Chicago house music. Okay. Me, I know drummer led bands, there's a different rhythm to the music if they're the producer that I'm interested in. So I was like, let me go check this out. So I had my boy Elliot, DJ Ness with me, and I was like, we go into the show. We went to eat, went to a cool, literally went past Skid Row, and next thing you know, we in this random arts district in LA. Like, whoa, all right, it's people out on a Wednesday. So we go into this place called Resident LA, and it's this group. There's Watkins Music. Kid you not. First of all, the DJ set the scene because I'm like, all right, who we got was house music. So DJ going, he got on his fit like it's 1974, but he just looking at the crowd and he in it. He going crazy, right? So now I'm staring at him, staring at me, and I'm rocking with him. I'm like, yo, we going crazy. I know he got you. You know what I'm saying? He was going crazy. He was mixing and blending. But then so even setting the stage for the main act is very important, which you should be complimentary of your main act. For all my young up and comers who are opening, especially you DJs, if you on a DJ style tour, do not play the major bangers that you know the main DJ's gonna play. You want to talk about career suicide because they'll tell everybody don't book them. They're gonna try to outshine you instead of you putting your own flair on stuff. They know you just trying to play the biggest stuff. That's career suicide, bro. So set the scene for the main artist. Main art acts got on there. Watkins Music, bro. Kid you not. You could tell they work together. Every element. Two pianists, lead guitar, bass guitar, the drummer, lead singer, two lead singers, male and female, and an MC, a rapper. And it made even that, like you don't usually see two lead singers and then a rapper. But that it was able to have creativity in the show and the rhythm and for them to go in and out, and the pause breaks was like letting the singers get they shine. You can tell which records let who shine, and it was an amazing experience to where I was like, we got to get y'all to Omaha. We gotta work. We got to get some stuff done. So no lights, no nothing. Small place, but you can still capture an audience, like, and everybody there was appreciative of what they just witnessed. Even if they didn't like me, I had no clue who they were. It was all good. So those are the things that we look for when we go out to these performances. That's the feeling. How am I gonna feel when I leave here? Do I feel like I got robbed and paid some money that I'm like, could have did this at home?
Yeah, I mean, I think that just like you said, MCing is a very, very big part of it. And as we go, I think that just, I think about the performances that changed my life. It shifted my life over the last couple of years. 2010, I was able to go and see the Blueprint 3 tour that Jay-Z was on with Trey Songz and Jeezy. That shifted everything. Seeing Jay-Z, and I was a fan of his music, but I wasn't the biggest fan of his music. But seeing the amount of control he had over the crowd, everybody knowing his music, the effect, it's the presence alone. Some things you can't put into words. Some people presence, you can't quantify in words what their actual presence means. Like some people, just by being close to them, you feel elevated, like you can do more, like you can do greater. Some people, just being close to them, you feel like you can do less. And so like, if your presence has the ability to quantify people around you, that's huge. And I think another just recently, last year, August, I had went out to Chicago, the Wu-Tang, Nas, and Busta Rhymes tour. And, I love Nas. Nas is one of my favorite MCs. Wu-Tang, I just started recently getting into with the show, like I wasn't no big Wu-Tang head, those aspects of hip hop. Busta Rhymes, man, I didn't know he was the MC that he is, man. The master ceremony, his performance, his stage presence, everything. I truly, honestly feel like that show is the reason why Nas dropped his last tape, that King's Disease 3, and that pushed him to another level because it was a night and day difference. It wasn't even comparable, the level of skill of commanding the crowd out there. And that's no disrespect to Wu-Tang. That's no disrespect to Nas. Busta Rhymes, I could only imagine 15 years ago what it would have been like to see him perform at the peak of his career.
And it's funny because we hear those stories, but then you get to see even, I'll say, quote unquote, past his prime. You be like, well, I want to see Busta with the hair. Because that probably would have been insane. Because you know what type of energy he has.
His energy, but give a shout out to his fucking, to his hype man, dog. Like, bro, the synergy is there. Every time he need that pick, his hype man is there to carry him. It's like perfectly in sync. They on stage, and it goes back to not trying to outshine and not trying to outshine. You still shine. Like it's so beautiful, bro. So like to see his hype man, to see their relationship, to see how they work in tandem on the stage, bro. That's probably some of the best MCing and stage presence that I've seen combined, man. Busta Rhymes.
Yes, sir. Yeah, he that dude. I have not gotten to witness him. It's a couple of shows I ain't gonna say I have to. Hopefully I didn't miss the boat, but we're gonna see, you know. Gotta get to a K-Dot to Kendrick because I want to see the theatrics. I hear it. I just gotta see and experience for myself. Busta's on that list. I want to see Coast Contra later when they the headline and they do because I feel like it's gonna be something. I've got to experience so many already, so it's like I done seen all these. I done seen Big Crit, and Rhapsody, and all of that. So, I think if Wale ever drop a go-go tape, then I want to go because I think it's gonna be just pure jam, live jam session. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just like it is in these, it's just gonna be one of them. Like it's just a vibe. We ain't gonna go, but yeah, man, it is vitally. For longevity in this game. And now you got a sense of why people like Busta have lasted. Even without dropping music, they can be like, no, I'm going to the show. Because the performance matters. The performance is kind of where it's at. And I don't think we will ever be at a point where the performance part of your music will trump anything else. Even as AI comes, even as we move digitally with performances, you still gonna have to bring something. Because now they're gonna be like, well, you got more tools to be creative. People gonna look for more. You ain't gonna be able to just do bass. So you gotta figure it out. But that live performance, whether it's with live instrumentation or a DJ or digital, you can still feel it when the energy's there and the people are doing what they, really there for the folks, for the experience. So
that part. And just keep that in mind, man. As we wrap up, one of my don'ts, man, that I just got to leave artists with, especially up and coming. I know a lot of us is coming from a different environment, but y'all got to please, when it comes to y'all engineers, have them bounce y'all down the performance version of y'all tracks, man. It is nothing tackier than listening to y'all perform over your own lyrics in the background. Like, we come for that performance aspect. So if I could leave y'all with anything as we wrap up, is just make sure y'all hit up y'all engineers and ask for that performance version of y'all tracks. Get an acapella version of y'all tracks. I mean, I know things is starting to go different now. We got, Serato got the stem packages and stuff like, so it's going to be easier. But just as artists, it's the experience as a listener and as a connoisseur of music is horrible when you're rapping over your own music.
Yeah. That was the main point why we wanted to have this discussion today. Don't do it. And if you don't have those tracks, then go get a real DJ and have them, y'all need to practice with Serato, getting in and out of your tracks with your vocals. Because you can do that on the fly now. And as a matter of fact, you can record it on your own and do it. So, very few artists sound like their studio version. So you can't have the studio version belting over your actual lyrics to where we can't hear you anymore. That is that might be the biggest turnoff in the history of, because now you're not performing, you're just on stage and we're listening to your tape. I could have did this at home. So please get the performance tracks. If not, get you a real DJ who will get in and out of your tracks using like the Serato stem. So it allows people to experience you, not just your music. Again, this is about experiencing the artist. It's the only reason we come. We can still listen to your music on stream. We come to experience you because we support your music. So with, man, great ending point. No more no-nos. Let's get better. Go get your money. Go get your audience. Go capture the hearts and the minds of the people. Because that's how you stay in this game.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you stay in any game, capturing the hearts and the minds of the people, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, shit.
Yeah.
With that, without further ado,
man, y'all already know what time it is, man. Y'all make sure y'all hitting that like, subscribe, comment if it's something on here that y'all find. If y'all made it to this point of the theme, man, make sure y'all drop that Streets A&R in the chat. We looking forward to that Streets A&R in the chat, man.
Yeah, man. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, share, follow, listen, watch, all of it, man. It's Streets. You can find us everywhere but Apple. It's Streets A&R on social media, but it's Streets the and sign R. Type that in, whether you're on Spotify, Google, Audible, whatever you on, YouTube, we pop right up. So we appreciate the support so far, man. We're gonna continue to grow this and grow this kind of arts and culture. It's business, it's growth. We're gonna continue to tell you what we see, as the people who are kind of the A&R from a distance, So we want everybody to succeed or not, but we want you to have the chance. So do what's really best, do what's really best for your career. So this is what we see. We just want y'all to keep growing, man. We appreciate y'all. Shit. Until next time, man. It's your host, Giddy Jicky with it.
This your other host, Johnny No Good.
We out of here.
Peace.
Peace.
The beats, the flow, the rhythm. All movement starts from the streets. Streets A&R Podcast.